Tonight, communities hijacked by the drug ice. Our investigation into this national crisis. Plus, the pensioner attacked by her teenage neighbour. Now she's a virtual prisoner in her own home. And why taxpayers might have to foot the bill for deadbeat dads, the controversial new plan. Hello, I'm Tracy Grimshaw. Welcome to A Current Affair. Those stories soon. First, we investigate ice addicts and their devastating impact on families and communities, amid calls for new mandatory minimum sentences, possibly for life, for those found guilty of manufacturing ice. Steve Marshall looks at a national crisis.
The ice is driving the crime, breaking enters, stealing, even bashings, burning houses.
Welcome to Australia's frightening future.
All of a sudden he felt an almighty bang from behind. He ended up in hospital with a burst eye socket.
Icebergs, where addicts rule the streets after dark.
I was so scared. I've never been so scared in my life.
It's been taken over by the kids and the drug addicts.
As our crystal meth epidemic becomes more apparent by the day.
We have a ticking time.
One of them was my sister.
It's an ominous outlook that this place is already experiencing.
They're 10, 11, 12 and do ice because their parents do.
Tonight, a cry for help from a community hijacked by Australia's ice drug epidemic. Locals say that there's so much ice being used here that this town's earned the unfortunate nicknames of Little Antarctica and the South Pole for its alarming ice scourge. Ron, are you a community under siege?
We're a community that is crying out for something to happen, for something to be done.
Wellington, a small farming town of 5,000 people northwest of Sydney. Home to the horse race, the Wellington Boot. But tonight, inside this garage, locals are locked in crisis talks.
If the criminals want to move their stuff or want to do something in Wellington, do it after 9 because the coppers aren't around.
They're sick of drug-related crime.
These two guys came along, on ice, and this guy wanted to pick a fight with my boy who was only 11 years old.
A Current Affair's been invited to the meeting by Ron, whose family has lived here for generations.
Town used to have a great community spirit and a great amount of involvement in the community and a lot of pride.
What's Wellington like now?
Wellington has basically give up the ghost. A lot of people are afraid to go out of the day. A lot of people are afraid to go out to events of the night because of the ice, because of the crime.
A nighttime drive reveals deserted neighbourhoods. The main street is empty, so too one of the few restaurants that's still open for business. The owners point out recent criminal damage to their diner. Is this the only thing that's happened to the restaurant?
No, they broke this big glass 2 times.
Really?
And they took some drinks from the restaurant.
Oh, so you've been robbed as well?
Yes, a couple of times.
It nearly cost us $2,000.
It's a week's worth of takings. Tough to recoup when people say they're too afraid to go out overnight. Hey Nathan! Guard dogs alert Nathan and Shay we've arrived. So you've got the dogs for security?
Yep.
Yeah.
They've got 2 guard dogs in the front and I've got 1 dog in the back.
The extra security was brought in after Nathan's ute was broken into. What did you lose?
I lost a few hunting gear, a couple of other little things. Yeah, they didn't take my wallet because it was down beside the door, but just they took a little bit of change.
Yeah, and where do you reckon that ended up?
For drugs. Sold for drugs.
Nathan should be angry, but he understands the urge of an ice addict more than most.
One of them was my sister.
Really?
Yep. And Mum and Dad's, know what I mean? My dad's wiped his hands clean with my sister because she went down that path many years ago. And she comes here to see her kids and that here, but she's supervised. And but I know her well, like, know what I mean? She won't stop. She tries, and she won't stop.
You've tried to help her off it?
Yep, tried to help her off it. When I was younger, actually, and she used to ask me for money because she was hungry. I knew, obviously, now I know what she's hungry for.
And so, you've been broken into here?
Yep. They smashed all the fibro, put a hole in there. So
and you've had to put this tin up for security?
To stop them getting in.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
And
was that a one-off incident, being broken into?
No, that was about the 5th.
Kerry was hoping to enjoy retirement after moving here from Sydney. Instead, she spends most of her time guarding against the nighttime threat.
I basically sleep from 5 in the morning when I know the sun's coming up.
Because it's safer?
It's safer to sleep in the day than of the night time.
We woke up one morning and there was a boulder in our lounge room. It had smashed this window.
Jade's on edge too, shaken by a vicious attack on her partner by a gang of youths.
He beeped his horn, flashed his lights. They ignored him. He wound down his window, told him to get out of the way. By the time he ended up in the driveway, he got out of the driver's seat. He turned to his side and seen a guy pull his jacket forward. A machete came out.
Machete?
Yes, and all of a sudden he felt an almighty bang from behind.
Yeah.
He ended up in hospital with a burst eye socket.
If he comes to me, he gives me a weapon. Bridge, you cross over it and you strike. Just slow, work your techniques.
Ron is a martial arts teacher. He says people need to know how to defend themselves when Wellington goes into lockdown at night.
People lock everything up, put grills on windows. Some people in this community lock up their houses like fortresses.
I'm spending an hour or 2 every day just checking CCTV footage.
Retiree Kerry's been forced to install several security cameras around her home.
They should just give me a cell out at that prison because I'd be safer.
The prison is 6 kilometres away, but even in here, ice seeps through the bars. It's understood of the 30 recent raids on cells here, ice was discovered in more than 15 of those searches. So if the drug's so readily available in jail, then you can imagine just how easy it is for people on the outside to lay their hands on ice, which locals say is being used in 1 in every 3 homes in some neighbourhoods here. Ron and others are also protecting themselves online, alerting each other and reporting crime as it unfolds. Ron, how do you know that ICE is behind the crime and the problems the community's having here?
People's experiences. People are telling us, people are coming to our meetings, people are talking on social media and identifying these people.
The local police are stretched, dealing with a menacing drug running rampant across our nation. A hotline has been set up for locals to dob in a drug dealer. The police are doing their best, but the station is understaffed and has limited operating hours. The closest police backup in the town of Dubbo, 50 kilometres away.
Someone had wound up badly injured or if not dead by the time they got there if something major was to break out.
If you asked every mayor in Australia, do you want more police? The answer, of course, would be yes.
Rod Burr is the Wellington Mayor. He's also a part-time police officer here.
This is not a problem that we're going to arrest ourselves out of. This is not a problem that the police themselves can solve. It's not going to work that way. So simply having more police isn't necessarily going to solve this issue. It's about the whole community coming together to solve the issue and working collaboratively, and I think we're doing a very good job of that here.
But there's a sinking feeling in these icebergs. There's no shortage of homes for sale, and many shops have already closed their doors.
Before we had left Wellington, my son was attacked by a man, my elder son, who in a park who was carrying a tomahawk. You showing off, Diego?
Mother of 7, Rachel, fled Wellington for Dubbo to save her son.
Ice. I was fearing that he would try the ice.
It's at the point where we just want to pack up and move.
Stephen and his pregnant wife Mel could be the next to pack their bags.
I don't even work no more because I'm concerned leaving my partner and my family home. What if our house get broken into, because it's just getting unbelievable, really bad.
Get out on the streets and engage.
And that's why Ron and other Wellington locals are speaking out. They don't want to bag their town, they want to save it.
Hopefully Wellington will see this, the government will see this, the police will see this, the powers that be will see this and decide to get off their asses and do something. Help us. Help us, help our communities. That's what we're all about.
Steve Marshall joins me now, and Steve, ICE doesn't discriminate, does it?
That's exactly right, Tracy. You'd be forgiven for thinking that the ice epidemic was isolated to capital cities. But what we've just shown you is that no community is immune to this modern-day plague. Today, Senator Jackie Lambie revealed her 21-year-old son is hooked on ice. That stunning admission coming just hours after the Northern Territory Police Commissioner spoke publicly about his son's ice addiction. Clearly, this drug preys on people from all walks of life, which is why tonight A Current Affair is launching its own anti-ice campaign. If this drug is ripping through your neighbourhood, drop us a line and I'll personally visit with a camera crew so together we can continue to shine a torch on the scourge that's threatening our nation. Tracy.